Hello and welcome to another episode of Eat, Smoke, Drink. So today I am going to be reviewing something very, very interesting. This is from the Artisan Roast Coffee Company, Artisan Roast Chile. Okay, once again, I'm a bit I'm a bit confused. It says hashtag cafe circular, but it is Artisan Roast. So let's say Artisan Roast Cafe Circular. Maybe the Cafe Circular is like a description, like a little, what do you call it, a little tagline for the coffee company. Anyway, this is a local Chilean roastery, and apparently this is one of the very first grandfathers of third wave coffee here in Chile. I hate that word third wave, but hey, that's just a description that people seem to use. What makes this unusual is this is an Indian bean, okay? Indian bean, Monsoon Malabar Indian bean. So Monsoon Malabar, literally they leave the beans out to ferment in the rain, in the monsoon, and then they dry it on raised beds. Okay, so a pretty unusual way of processing a coffee. So I would presume that it would be a hybrid between natural fermentation and honey fermentation as it starts to rot and ferment in the sun. Some of the mucilage falls off, some of the pulp falls off, and then they process that and then they dry it. So look, I don't know, I tried Googling and finding on YouTube how they actually process the Monsoon method, and I can't fucking find it. But nevertheless, I'm going to do teaspooning today. So I'm going to do 5 grams. So let me just, so I'm going to do 5 grams just to get a good sample. And I'm going to put 80 mils of water and just give it a good scratch and sniff as I usually do. As you can see here in this clip, the beans are unusually colored, okay? The beans are very unusually colored. They are yellowish, orangey, kind of creamy colored looking beans, which is really quite unusual. It's not something that I encounter every day. And I'm going to put it in the grinder, so bear with me. Quite an unusual consistency. Actually, straight away, the grinding of the bean feels very different already. I can't explain it. It just, the texture of the bean, fuck, I made a fucking mess. The texture of the bean, even though it is a medium roast, and I can tell it's a medium roast, okay, the texture of the bean is quite strange. I can't describe it. Quite crispy and almost very dry. The humidity seems to be quite low. I can't, yeah. But anyway, look, let's sniff. Oh, wow. That's very, very unusual. It smells like the Monsoon of Malabar. No, I'm kidding. I don't smell a fucking monsoon, but do you know what I smell like? When I smell that, just close your eyes and imagine you're walking into a movie theater with the popcorn, the butter, the salt, and it's just in the air. You're about to buy your tickets and some fucking asshole in front of you cuts in. No, okay, yeah. You know, forget about that last bit. But yeah, so it's like a movie theater, the popcorn, it really smells like popcorn. Freshly tanned leather that's been out in the sun, and you can smell that leather scorching in the sun. There's a slight fruitiness to it. It's unusual. Wow. Dried apricot jam, burnt brown sugar. Wow, very unusual nose. Very unusual nose. It smells like, you know when you have those Japanese teas with a puffed rice, it smells like it's got a bit of that puffed rice. And I'm not taking the piss because it's Indian Malabar that's got some rice in it. I'm not taking the piss. For real, it has that puffed rice, that cereal puffed rice smell. There's a slight herbaceousness to it. But I'm gonna say this right now, and this is one of the most unusual ground coffee I have smelt. I mean, I have not smelt anything this unusual. There's a fruitiness, cereal, there's a woodiness, leatheriness, there's popcorn, just like that, popcorn. There's a slight funkiness to it, but not so funky like a normal natural bean. There's a definite toastiness to it, but not burnt, but toastiness. Like when you put your bread in the toaster and the bread starts to curl, and then maybe the corner of that bread touches or gets too close to the element, you know what I mean? And you can just see a little bit of smoke coming off it. It smells like that, toasted bread, white bread. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some water in there, let it steep, and I'll see you back in 4 minutes. All right, 4 minutes is up. 4 minutes is up. Let's get sniffing. Wow, look, I can't get over it. I just can't get over it. The note of it, the note of it is just popcorn and cereal, toasted bread, toasted white bread, a little bit of fruit. I'm thinking maybe orange peel on the nose, some apricot, dried apricot, slightly earthy. A faint hint of raspberry, like fresh raspberries, actual raspberries. And a woodiness to it. I can't describe the woodiness. Maybe like a Spanish cedar, a little bit of unlit tobacco, unlit cigar tobacco, okay? So I'm just going to do some teaspooning here. Okay, that is bloody unusual. So that is actually more, it's definitely medium roast, but towards medium center, to slightly on the darker side, I think. It has quite low acidity. Quite low acidity. Very slight sweetness. Now, I don't know if the low acidity is supposed to be the intention, but that's what I'm getting. Low acidity, medium to low sweetness, maximum earthiness, dark chocolate. If you're looking for a more traditional coffee flavor, that is definitely it. It's quite clean on the palate. It's not overly oily, if you know what I mean. It's not very viscous on the palate. It's a very traditional coffee flavor. So you know when you get people to try coffee that drink just your normal coffee, and you get them to try your pour over with a single origin, natural, whatever, and they go, oh shit, it's so sour. Why is it so sour? Because they're not used to that. They're used to that burnt, over roasted taste, you know, Brazilian bold roast, Italian bold roast. This is not like that. It is in that spirit and direction. Very low acid. It's not overly fruity on the palate. On the nose, there's a slight fruitiness, but on the palate, it's not very fruity. On the palate, it is actually, it is very much a coffee for coffee drinkers. So I would say that would be delicious with espresso. I'm not sure how that would go as a pour over. I'll be completely honest. I'm keen to try it, and I'm not going to try it right now, but just for the pure sake of testing the coffee. There's a slight bitterness to it. Yeah, I think in this format it's not doing it justice. It's not a bad coffee. It's just not it doesn't have much acidity, and I quite like the acidity in coffee. I think this would really, really be delicious with milk, espresso and a flat white. I think that would be fantastic. But apart from that, like I said, it's not a bad coffee. It's just, I think this is going to be perfect for an espresso. Perfect for an espresso. Anyway, until next time, make sure you eat, smoke, drink. Cheers.